Okay. Now the third application would be the problems on ages. I simply put the question as ratio of ages of A and B 12 years ago was 4:7 and 8 years from now the ratio will be, so ratio of ages of A and B in the same order will be 3:4. Find represent ages. Alright, so here again we'll have many methods as we did for mixture question. It's more or less same as that question. Okay, we'll just take situations like this. I'll say present. This is what we have to find. Then we have 12 years ago. Then we have 8 years later. Okay, so this is the situation given. Right? Now 12 years ago the ratio of A and B, ages of A and B was 4:7 and 8 years later the ratio of ages of A and B is given 3:4. We can start from any situation. You see, we can introduce a variable x here. So age of A can become 4x years and age of B can become 7x years. That means the present ages would be, now see, this was 12 years ago. So now the ages would be 4x plus 12. So 4x plus 12 and 7x plus 12. So this is what we have to find. Alright. Then further 8 years, next 8 years, after 8 years what will happen? This age further will increase by 8. So age of A should become 4x plus 12 plus 8. So that is 4x plus 20. And age of B should become 7x plus 12 plus 8. That is 7x plus 20. Or you can see directly from here to here there is a total gap of 20 years. There is a total gap of 20 years. Okay, so 4x plus 20, 7x plus 20. So these are the ages of A and B 8 years later. And there the ratio given is 3:4. So we can simply use this 4x plus 20 upon 7x plus 20 and that ratio is equal to 3/4. Cross multiply, so 16x plus 80 is equal to 21x plus 60. 16x goes to the other side, so we get 5x. This side we get 20, so x is equal to 4. Once we get the values of x, we put them here, we find their ages. So age of A here will be 4x plus 12. So 4 into 4, 16 plus 12, that is 28 years. And 7x plus 12, that is 28 plus 12, 40 years. Okay. So this is one way of doing this question, wherein we have started with this. What we could have also done, we could have started from here and subtracted. So I'll take that one also. If now this is a different method. Suppose we started from this situation 8 years later and we put a variable as A is to B 3:4 and we say A is equal to 3y and B is equal to 4y. So if you come back to the present situation, age of A, that is present situation, age of A would be 3y minus 8 and age of B would be 4y minus 8. If you further go backwards 12 years ago, in that case age of A will become this minus 12, so it will become 3y minus 20, or this will become 4y minus 20, or you could have seen directly this was 20 years back. Okay, this difference is net difference between these two situations is still 20 years. Alright, now ratio of these two quantities given was 4:7, so we can simplify 3y minus 20 upon 4y minus 20 equal to 4/7. Solve this and put the values of y here, you will get the same answer. So this comes out to be 7 into 3, 21y minus 140 is equal to 16y minus 18. So 5y is equal to 60. This 140 goes to the other side, y is equal to 12. So put the values of y in this, you get A as 12 3s are 36 minus 8, that is 28 years, and B as 12 4s are 48 minus 8, that is 40. The answer should be the same. Now, there is one more way without any variable. So if you just try a little bit, you can understand that method also. I'll explain it. See, ratio gives us a lot of freedom, right, to use numbers, tables, and many other things. Again, I'll start like this. Present, 12 years ago. In the exam, you will not use multiple methods. In the exam, you have to use only one method, right? Whichever comes to your mind first. Okay. Okay. Now, 12 years ago, the ratio was given as, look at this very carefully, 4 and 7. What we are doing is we are assuming that these are the ages. So let's assume that age of A 12 years ago was 4 years and age of B was 7 years. Okay. Now, what is the difference between 4 and 7? If I assume this 4 and 7 to be original numbers, here the difference is 3 years. Now, ages are something very interesting. The difference of ages of any two people or any two persons will always be constant. You know, for example, if your younger brother or elder sister, if let's say there is a difference of 2 years in your and your siblings' age, that difference will always remain 2 years. However, angry you get on that fact, that cannot change. So if somebody is elder to you by 2 years, for your entire life will that person be elder to you 2 years, by 2 years, or and vice versa and so on. Okay. So here the difference of ages is 3 years. So at any point in time, the difference of their ages should be 3 years. Now why am I saying this? In this situation, 8 years later, the ratio of A and B is given as 3 and 4. So can we take this 3 and 4 as the original ages? No. Because if we take them to the original ages, the difference becomes 1. How is that possible? How is it possible that when the time goes ahead, the ages reduce? That is not possible. Now here, the difference of 3 and 4 is 1. As we did in some of the earlier question, make it 3. How will you make 1 equal to 3? Multiply by 3. So if you multiply by 3, this 1 becomes 3. Now you cannot multiply this 1 by 3. So to get this 1, what did you do? You subtracted this from this. So you have to multiply by 3, so multiply this whole thing by 3. So A will become 9 years and B will become 12 years. And hence the difference will become 3 years. Now these values can be taken as the original values. Okay. And what it means is now these values are in tandem with each other. Now they are in coherence. They can be considered together. Here the difference is 3 years, so here also the difference is 3 years. Fine. So one thing we have established, the difference of age is 3 years, so they are also 3 years. Okay. Now look at their individual ages. What is the age of A here? 4 years. What is the age of B here? A here in this case, that is 9 years. So how much is the gap? How much is the time duration? That is 5 years. Is this 5 year correct? No. What is the total gap between these two situations? Between these two situations, the total gap is 20 years. That means the age of both A and B should have increased by 20 years, but whereas in this data, the age of A has increased only by 5 years. So make this 20. Now to make this 20, what will you have to do? Multiply by 4. So if you multiply by 4, these two values will become 16 and 28. These two values will become 36 and 48. And these are the actual numbers. So ages 12 years ago, 16 and 28. Hence you can find the present ages by adding 12. So 16 plus 12, 28 years. And 28 plus 12, 40 years. Or from here you can subtract 8 to get the present ages. So 36 minus 8, that is 28 years. 48 minus 8, that is 40 years. Alright, so this was one very interesting question. So you don't worry about the difficulty thing. You just try a couple of more times. What I have done, I'll just explain it once more. We assume these 4 and 7 to be the original values. The difference was 3. Now you may also ask, why can't we start from here and this divide by 3? Then the process will become a little cumbersome. That is why, to keep the things integers, we took this as the, because the difference was 3 here, the difference was higher here, so we took this as the original value. So 4 and 7 original value. Corresponding to this 3 and 4, difference is 1. Make it 3 by multiplication of 3. So this 3 becomes 9, 4 becomes 12. Now the difference is 3 years, here also difference is 3 years. So now all these 4 values can be taken together. In that case, the age of A has gone from 4 years to 9 years. That means it has increased by 5 years, whereas it should have increased by 20 years. So make this 5 20 by multiplication of 4. So multiply each of these numbers by 4. So you get the ages 12 years ago, you get the ages 8 years later. From any one set, you can get the present ages. So the answers would be 28 years and 40 years.